So we hear all the time about AI models and AI agents, right? But what about the stuff that's happening behind the scenes? The invisible architecture that actually makes it all tick. Well, there's this new concept, a new term that's starting to bubble up to describe exactly that. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you what it is.
And it all kicks off with this absolutely brilliant phrase from a technologist named Matt Webb. He was in the middle of building an AI system, and he had this realization. He was spending most of his time doing something he started calling context plumbing. I know, it sounds a little weird, right? Context plumbing, but trust me, it's one of the most important ideas in AI today.
So what is it, and why is it so important for the future of AI? Well, that's our mission for the next few minutes. We're going to break down what context plumbing actually means, and you'll see why getting this one concept is the key to understanding where all this technology is really heading.
Okay, so before we can really get into the plumbing, we have to talk about what's flowing through the pipes. And in the world of AI, that's something we call user intent.
Intent is really just what you're trying to do, your goal. It can be super obvious, like you literally say out loud, I want to buy a camera. Or it can be way more subtle, like you just glance over at a lamp and think to yourself, shoot, I have that call in 20 minutes. This right here, this is the new superpower of AI. It's getting so much better at understanding not just our words, but what we actually mean.
And make no mistake, this isn't just some cool, nice-to-have feature. No way. This is the entire game. If you look back at the history of technology, the pattern is crystal clear. The products that get closer to a user's intent, they're the ones that always win.
I mean, just think about the huge leap from the desktop computer to the smartphone. On a desktop, your intent is, I want to click that button. But to do it, you have to see the button, move your arm, grab the mouse, drag a little pointer across the screen, and then finally click. It's indirect. A smartphone, it just collapses all of those steps. You see the button, you touch the button. Done. It got so much closer to our intent, and that feeling of directness is a huge reason it completely took over.
Yeah. Every single one of those extra steps, clicking through menus, trying to remember shortcuts, figuring out the right order of operations, that's what's called administrative burden. It's kind of like the annoying paperwork of using technology. And AI, its big promise is to be the ultimate slayer of that bureaucracy, to just completely erase the gap between what you want and getting it done.
And this is why we're seeing this massive explosion of new hardware, right? AI glasses, those always-on lanyard things, cameras that can read our body language. The tech companies are in a race to be right there at the exact millisecond your intent is even formed, before you even think to reach for your phone. Getting to the origin of your intent, that's the new frontier.
Okay, so if intent is the AI's destination, then what's the fuel that gets it there? Well, that fuel is context.
Context is, well, it's pretty much everything else. It's all the surrounding information, the background knowledge, the tools it has available, basically anything and everything the AI needs to know to understand your intent and actually make it happen.
And context is not just one simple thing. It's this huge, messy, incredible mix of information. We're talking about everything from, all of Wikipedia to your personal history, what time of day it is, shared documents, even the unspoken stuff, the common sense knowledge that you and the machine share. It's a lot.
This has actually become such a big deal that there's a whole new discipline for it, context engineering. And this quote here from the LangChain blog really nails it. It's all about building these dynamic systems just to feed the AI the right info and the right format at just the right time so it can actually get the job done.
And this leads to a really important strategic point. Look, for an AI to be amazing, it needs the best context. So, where is the best context being created? Well, it's in your email, your conversations, your documents, your calendar. This is why all the big AI players are pushing so hard to get their systems integrated deep inside our digital lives. They want to be where the context is born.
Okay, so we've got the two key ingredients: intent, which is what you want to do, and context, which is the information to do it. Now, finally, we can talk about the main event, the plumbing that connects them both.
So here's the big problem, the central challenge. All that super useful context we were just talking about, it's not just sitting in some nice, neat folder. Nope, it's scattered everywhere. It's changing all the time. A new email comes in. A colleague edits a shared document. The weather changes. It's a messy, dynamic system.
So that leaves AI developers with the billion-dollar question, right? How in the world do you get all of that messy, scattered, time-sensitive information to the AI model at the exact moment it needs it to act on your intent?
The answer? You build pipes. This is the absolute heart of context plumbing. It's about designing an architecture where context isn't just looked up when it's needed. That's way too slow. Instead, it flows continuously, behind the scenes, from where it's created at the source to where the AI can use it at the sink.
And to really grasp what a massive shift this is, just compare it to the web we've been using for decades. Web 2.0 was basically a giant digital filing cabinet. You create files, you read them, you update them. It's all pretty static. This new AI architecture, it's not a filing cabinet. It's more like a nervous system, a dynamic, continuous flow of information that allows for instant response.
All right, so this is all super interesting from a technical side, but what about for the rest of us? Why should you care? What does this new architecture actually mean for how you'll experience this technology?
Well, here's the thing. When the plumbing is done right, it should feel completely invisible. The AI just seems to know what it's supposed to know. It has the right information for your task, and you never had to explicitly tell it anything. The ultimate goal is to build an AI that feels like it's perfectly in sync with your own intuition.
And that brings us to one last really important thought. This whole idea of a continuous background flow of our information is, incredibly powerful. But it also means these systems are going to be woven into our lives more deeply than any technology we've ever had before. So as this AI gets plumbed into everything we do, it leaves us with a pretty critical question to consider. Where do we install the shutoff valve?